Hello, in this video we're going to complete the discussion on layers tree, and basically what we have left is just to get through the rest of the options under the right click context menu. So we already discussed how to make a group from selection, so you'll notice that some of these are not available unless you have multiple selected. I'll show you one right here. So notice I do have this on. I have the layer checked, so it's displaying all of these fields, all of these layers. But say I wanted to turn all of these off and I only wanted to look at wet layer. I didn't want to use the flicker layers option. So you could come in here at this point and highlight all of these, right click and toggle visible state. And that will turn all of those off. You can see the checkbox is not checked anymore. And then you can just flip them back on. Kind of an alternative to Flickr, pretty specific to a column, but you could, holding control, even flicker these on. So if you wanted to flicker everything off and some back on, you can toggle them that way. And again, just toggle those back off. The last one I think that you need to have multiple selected is for remove selected layers. This is something that we've never really had the capability to do before, but if you want to remove multiple layers, you can just select them, click on remove multiple layers. It does give you the option to remove the actual shape files. So you can remove from the layer tree by deselecting those, and it will just remove them from the project, but it will keep the shape files in the project folder. With these checked, it will delete the shape files as well, and they'll be out of your project folder and in the trash. So with one selected, you can, instead of doing select layer all, you can right click on unstable and select all. Oh, I think I missed it. Oh, wet area, here we go. Select all, or region, select all, and you can clear selection as well from there. Clear selection. We'll just remove that from your selection. Zoom to layer, we'll zoom to the full extent of the entire layer. I guess we can do that. There's quite a bit here. It's going to be a large extent. So, of 1,000 features, you can see it takes us out to basically the whole district level. I'm going to just go back now. Edit layer settings is the same as display layer settings, so it's just an alternative to get into that. You can also double click to get to layer settings as I showed before. Now, save layer settings and load layer settings are actually a new addition to Atlas 3, and it's kind of a nice way to save for specific layers or to apply layer settings from regen. Say you made another layer called like regen clear cuts only or something like that. You had like a duplicate of a layer, or even the point is that it would have to have the same attribute data, because when you apply the style settings, if you have thematics, you're going to need the same attributes to get those style settings. But if you don't, if you just have like a meadow and you're using some sort of a meadow fill, or you just really like some settings that you have for lake, you can apply those to other layers by doing save layer settings, and this just makes a little XML, and you can save it anywhere you want. Maybe in the map files folder would make sense, but I'll just put it on my desktop for now. We'll just call it Meadow XML, save. So now I could apply that Meadow XML to my region layer by using the other option, load layer settings. There's my Meadow XML. Open that, and you can see that it just took on the layer settings from Meadow. In the last video we talked about this not refreshing. From time to time that won't refresh, so I'm just going to click that refresh button and it will update that preview. So this is a pretty nice way to do it. If you don't want to do a whole map file partial just for one layer, you can open up the other geo, save the layer settings for that one specific layer, and then load that into a different geo and get those layer settings back. Extended layer setup and extended label setup use the native properties dialog that came as a part of the dot spatial suite that we are using for the framework at the very far back end of this program. Largely it's not really needed anymore, but if you do want to dive deeper in, there's a lot of detailed properties. Most of these are in our display layer settings and display label settings, but if you wanted to look in here and potentially find something that we don't have, I'll leave that up to you. Rename layer simply renames your layer, and it does change all of the backend shapefiles associated to this. So regen, if I renamed this to regen temp, the shapefile itself in the folder structure would also be called regen temp. And remove layer, this is just for a single layer. It's the same as edit layer delete, calls the same dialog window, and you can choose again to delete the shapefiles or not. And lastly, we have the browse attributes, so EAB, shortcut with right click. And that's going to do it for this video. There may be another supplemental video eventually, but that should get you through a full understanding of the layers tree for now.